Alex Hayden here, welcoming you back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway for today's qualifying session. It's a beautiful day for racing here in the northeastern United States. We have 40 of the best stock car drivers ready to tackle this fast-paced 1-mile track, and we're about to see whose speed carries over from yesterday's practice. The crews and drivers are at the ready. They'll have 2 time laps here to get all they can to put themselves towards the front. This race has only been won from outside the top 15 twice over the last 13 races. Knowing that and knowing how dangerous these restarts can be, these drivers will be looking to see their name towards the top of that pylon after today's qualifying session. Let's head trackside to get it started.
And with that being said, welcome ladies and gentlemen to tonight's edition of NASCAR 21 Ignition on the channel. 5 races to go in the battle for the regular season championship and for those final playoff spots that are still available into tonight's race. Sitting on 12 different winners coming into tonight's race, that means 12 drivers are locked into the playoffs with 4 spots still open for these final 5 regular season races. And the points so far on the cutoff line would look like this. Comfortably above the cutoff line on points and will likely not fall out of the top 16 in the playoff standings would be Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, as long as we don't get a bunch of winners below the cutoff line, which could happen considering we have a few wild card races left at the Indianapolis Road Course, Watkins Glen, and the regular season finale at Daytona. This is the last short track on the schedule in the regular season, and the last 750 horsepower oval racetrack on the schedule for the regular season. The drivers, though, who are on a little bit of a tighter bubble when it comes to the regular season standings right now, currently sitting 15th and 16th as they are in a tie as the last 2 drivers above the cutoff line, Kurt Busch and Austin Dillon, are only a matter of 6 points ahead of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who sits 6 points below the cutoff line. Then there's a much bigger gap back to Chris Buescher, is quite a ways yet behind the cutoff line as he is 64 points to the negative. Cole Custer just behind him at 66 points below the cutoff line. So those drivers kind of in a must-win scenario. Really, it is just a 3-horse race between Stenhouse, Austin Dillon, and Kurt Busch, but only 2 of those 3 will get in unless we get, again, another new winner below the cutoff line that bumps another one of those 2 guys of Kurt Busch and Austin Dillon who are tied below the cutoff line. As far as the regular season point standings goes, we know our driver Ryan Blaney has not had great success in the last 4 races. Has finished outside the top 10 in each of the last 4 races. Unfortunately, he does have a couple stage wins in that 4-race stretch, but that's pretty much the only thing going for him is the stage points. Has to finish a race off today. With the last 4 races having bad finishes, he has now dropped outside of the top 10 in the regular season point standings, which means he would not get any additional playoff points for his regular season points finish. If he finishes outside the top 10, he's going to need to get his way back in. He is only 9 points behind Martin Truex Jr. for that 10th spot in the regular season standings, so it is definitely doable over these last 5 races to get into the top 10, and every spot higher into the top 10 is an additional playoff point after the next 5 races. Let's get into tonight's qualifying. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content before we get into tonight's full race live stream realistic commentary on the video game side of things today. Billy Kramer, NASCAR Fan 88, CIA, Oni, R6R6, Joshua Rumsey, Ice the Monkey 92, Hammer, Keith Kumpa, Billy Kramer. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Let's get this race underway. Well, let's get qualifying underway first, and then we'll get the race underway following that. Yeah, flip at New Hampshire. Well, hopefully we don't see one of those tonight. Ryan Blaney was quickest in practice. We'll see what qualifying can do for him. I think he's going to have a very good shot at the pole. He does overdrive turn 1 a little bit, but he's going to have 2 laps to set the quick time. Again, based off of the prior qualifying procedures before 2022, short tracks you get 2 laps. He's going to try downshifting into turn 3, overdriving that corner a little bit. He did that basically just to keep it off the wall. Lap 1 not going to be good for Ryan Blaney. He's going to have to pick up the pace quite a bit on lap 2 and try to run about where he was in practice. But Blaney's got a fast car today. We'll see if he can stay out of trouble. A lot better through turns 1 and 2 that time. And into turns 3 and 4. Running that middle to upper groove intentionally. Trying to get a better drive off and more straightaway speed. We'll see. Fast for Ryan Blaney by 49 one-thousandths of a second, about 400ths of a second faster than Kyle Busch with a lap time of a 29.687. So Blaney will be on the pole at New Hampshire today, his first pole on an oval this season, and I believe the second pole overall this season for Ryan Blaney. That is awesome for him there. Kyle Busch ends up second, so he'll start outside of the front row. Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott in row 2. Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, row 3. Kurt Busch, who is just on the cutoff line right now in row 4 inside of Denny Hamlin, who has won each of the last 2 races. Matt DiBenedetto, Joey Logano in row 5. Logano is currently the regular season points leader and has grown that quite a bit over the last handful of races as well. That was a much better second lap. That first lap, I probably would have been outside the top 20. That was a bad first lap, but picked up the pace pretty quickly on lap 2. Raji, Mark DeMars, welcome to the stream as well.
Alex Hayden, welcoming you to New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301. This racetrack is known as the Magic Mile. It's a flat but fast track situated about an hour from Boston. Drivers will be focused on their brakes, center roll, and good drive off to give them the best chance of winning that lobster today. Let's head trackside now, where the drivers and teams are making their final preparation. Who's going to get it done today?
Alrighty, well, we already went through the starting lineup, or at least the top 10 of those. We'll see what's going to happen here today. Does Brad K need a second championship? Welcome to the stream, and let's get this one started. Wonder how the next gens will run here. Yeah, next gen has not had a race at this track yet, but they will be racing here in a couple weeks. We'll be racing here, though, tonight. 301 laps will be the scheduled distance. 75 laps is all it is in stage 1. Pit window 76 to 80 laps. Green flag is in the air. We are underway at New Hampshire as Ryan Blaney leads the field into turns 1 and 2, and Kyle Busch gets a great drive off. Alex Bowman taking it 3 wide to the inside, leaving Blaney with a little contact with his teammate Brad Keselowski on the opening lap there as he fights back to the inside of Keselowski into turns 3 and 4. Keeps it off the 2 car just a bit. Bowman trying to clear the 9 of Elliott, not going to be able to. It's still side by side between Keselowski and Blaney. Blaney was not expecting Bowman to take it 3 wide underneath him on that opening lap. Blaney drives it in deep into turns 1 and 2. A little slide job maneuver and caution further back in the pack on lap 2. The yellow flag is out, and that did not take long for the first caution of the race today. Patrick Shadley, welcome into the stream as well. Blaney get I don't know what that was. Blaney's going to stay out of the pits here, as I'm not surprised considering it was only lap 2 where the caution came out, but the green flag is back in the air. And Kyle Busch leads the field to the green. Blaney going wide in turns 1 and 2. A lot of cars wide underneath him as well. And Blaney has not taken off well on these restarts so far. Checking up a little early into turns 3 and 4. Trying to keep his car clean in the early going. So much for qualifying on the pole. Kurt Busch taking his line away. Right in the middle of the corner. Blaney looking, crowding Logano just a bit. 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. Kurt Busch in the middle. Contact. Blaney back to the 10th place position now. Blaney wasn't around any cars in practice, so him in the dirty air right now is a little different from anything else he's had to deal with so far today. He's definitely getting good drive-offs on the exit of these corners. He's going to be 3 wide middle again, kind of forcing the issue. Logano and Kurt Busch around him. Kyle Busch has led them all so far. How do I get more cars on career mode? I don't know what you mean by that. Blaney in the wall off turn 4 to lose a spot to Harvick. have to be careful. Don't want to blow a tire. Every time you hit the wall, you got a good shot of that happening.
One left, clear, clear, clear.
I mean, you should automatically have the full field on the career mode. If you're talking about more cars to pick from, you only have the teams themselves to pick from, not specifically the cars, the car numbers. I haven't gone past the first season in the career mode to determine that, but I know when you first started, that's the case. Kurt Busch, Joey Logano been side by side for a little while, holding up Kevin Harvick, allowing Blaney to get back to the inside of the 4 car.
Still there. Clear, clear.
Blaney's car not as good on the bottom. He's a little tighter. Another reason why he likes to run the outside.
One left.
We'll get to the outside of the 4 of Harvick this time. A little bit too wide for Blaney's liking there up in the marbles. And Harvick's able to hold clear off the exit of turn 4. But again, Blaney looking high. Harvick will give him that outside lane because Kevin's going to take it 3 wide to the inside of Kurt Busch and Joey Logano now. Nearly making contact with the 1 of Kurt Busch, but not quite. Blaney in the wall. Off the exit of turn 2, he lost a little bit of ground, got back in the gas too soon. Ran a dime in the corner off. This is not career mode. No, this is race now mode, but I'm doing the points myself.
Clear, clear.
Because my career mode broke on me, so that's why I'm doing this. It's still the same schedule from 2021, though. Great drive off of turn 4 that time for Ryan Blaney as he gets to the inside of Kyle Larson.
Car right.
Sends it into turns 1 and 2 to get by Kurt Busch in the 1 as well. Blaney's car is a lot tighter in the race than what it was in practice and qualifying, where he was fastest in both. Crossing over Larson. Towards the outside he goes. Larson not giving him a lot of room off the exit of the corner, but Blaney beats him back to the throttle. We are 16 laps complete. 1 caution back on lap 2 so far, is the only yellow of the race. And he's still rounding out the top 10. He needs stage points today. Again, comes in 9 points outside the top 10 of the regular season standings. Playoff point per position. In the top 10 of the regular season points, 1 for 10th, 9th for 2nd, all the way up to 9 for finishing 2nd, and then 15 playoff points to the regular season champion, who right now that leader is Joey Logano. Logano squeezed in the middle, nearly making contact with his teammate Blaney underneath, as Blaney had him 3 wide. Kevin Harvick was on the outside, and Blaney backed out of the gas to let his teammate go for now. Harvick dives to the inside into turn 3 on DiBenedetto, but DiBenedetto with a little bit of a block. Harvick got a little tight off the exit of turn 4. Logano lifted behind him, and Blaney gets around Logano for position. Now going to drive it in deep into turns 1 and 2, underneath the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Trying to keep the car pinned on that yellow line on the inside of the racetrack. It's going to allow Harvick to get a little bit better drive off. Blaney holding on. He's going to give that inside lane to Logano. Nope, never mind. He'll go to the outside. Into turns 3 and 4. Logano's going to get underneath him now. Little contact between the Penske teammates. Harvick finally gets around DiBenedetto, and DiBenedetto will try a crossover move. And a battle for 7th with Harvick into 1 and 2. Blaney hard on the entry that time. He's trying to clear Logano, who was underneath him, so he could try to arc the corner back off again, and he is clear on the backstretch. Benedetto still challenging, though, on the inside of the 4. Side by side. Blaney going to take it 3 wide on the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2.
Outside, you're 3.
Tight squeeze for the 12 of Blaney. Slides clear of DiBenedetto, got into Harvick.
Clear, clear.
Risky business there. Oscar Ramirez Herrera, welcome to the stream. Good racing in the early going so far. There's stability help on, with this being a 750 oval. Limited. Still dangerous to make contact in this game. Only seen it a couple times from Blaney today. Scraped the wall twice. Luckily hasn't blown a tire there. So hard to pass at this racetrack though. Blaney just charges it hard on corner entry to slide past Matt DiBenedetto, and now he's just hoping that Matty D doesn't cross him over. That is not the case through turns 3 and 4 that time. And Blaney qualified on the pole, but that opening lap when Bowman took it 3 wide to the inside in turn 1 really shuffled the 12 car back. Then there was a caution on lap 2 when he settled in line in 4th. Had to restart on the outside and fell back to 10th. He's slowly trying to work his way forward since then. We know he has a fast race car. And the restarts could definitely be his Achilles heel tonight.
All right, hold your line. Clear, clear.
Blaney on the inside of the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Beats him back to the throttle. An aggressive clearance. Off turn 4. Blaney to 7th. And the leaders are definitely going to get to lap traffic eventually as well. Blaney in line now behind Chase Elliott. Drives it in extremely deep. Lets the car slide a bit wide. Elliott with the crossover. That's an aggressive move by Blaney. Elliott not clear. Blaney going down to side draft the 9 on the front stretch.
Still there. Clear all around.
It's alright though, because Blaney got to his outside. Now he can really pinch the 9 on corner exit as he does there and get the drive off and clears him down the back straightaway. Again, 301 laps, 301 miles around this flat 1 mile racetrack. Denny Hamlin trying to go for 3 wins in a row tonight. Won the race on Monday night as well as Tuesday night at Road America, followed by Atlanta. One road course in a 550 oval, now in a 750 oval. Big slide going into turns 3 and 4 for Blaney. Parks it in front of Byron with the slide job maneuver. Clears him. And unlike Elliott, not going to be able to attempt a crossover. So Blaney's back inside the top 5 again. He's got his teammate Brad Keselowski right in front of him. Kyle Busch is pulling away from Bowman, Hamlin, and the rest of the field. Good corner for Blaney through 1 and 2. All over the back of Keselowski, pulls out of line, going to try to outbrake him into turn 3, and does. And he's starting to get a little bit better as this long run continues. On the current tire stint, these drivers will not have to pit in stage 1. They can make it on fuel all the way to the end of the opening stage. It'll be interesting to see if they pit during the stage break itself, considering the fact that, again, the pit window is 76 to 80 laps, and it's 75 laps in stage 1.
Clear, clear.
So straightforward, and the strategy will be interested to see how that works out going into the next couple stages. Hamlin getting into the 12 of Blaney. After Blaney cleared him with a clean pass, then he ran right into the left rear corner panel trying to move the 12 back up out of the way as they battle for third. Blaney a little too hard into turns 1 and 2. He's going to go way wider than he wanted, but Hamlin can't get to the inside, and Blaney was still able to chop it down in the middle of the corner as he tries to reel in Bowman for second. Bowman, one of the cars winless this season, but above the cutoff line. Still would like to lock himself in the playoffs. You never know what's going to happen in those wild card races, who may win, as we do have 12 different winners this season so far. You never know if we get 13. Austin Dillon, who doesn't have a win yet, also he is above the cutoff line. Last driver above the cutoff line currently. Finished second at Atlanta 2 nights ago. Blaney on the outside of Alex Bowman as they're side-by-side for the lead. Yes, this is the updated game version tonight as well. Blaney will complete the pass on Bowman on the outside. Off turn 4, he is clear by a bunch. And he's a few seconds yet behind Kyle Busch, trying to run down the 18 car of Rowdy for the race lead. 19 likes on the stream already. Thanks for everybody hitting that like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as well. Just over 2.4 thousand subscribers on the channel after a couple nights ago. Appreciate you guys supporting me as always. Live race commentary this weekend for the Atlanta Cup race and hopefully the Xfinity race on Saturday evening as well. The Xfinity race is up in the air only because it depends on how quickly I can get out of Mid-Ohio from the truck race and how quickly that race flows for me to get home before the start of the Xfinity race. That's why on this weekly streaming schedule there's a question mark next to it just in case I can't get home quick enough. I knew I wasn't going to be able to for the Cup race from Mid-Ohio just because it was too close, but there is a little bit more of a gap time between the Xfinity race and the truck race this week. And I think it has to do with them being on two different networks, though, too. The truck race being broadcast on Fox Sports 1 and USA Network covering the Xfinity race. Two different providers in general, too. Blaney is definitely running down Kyle Busch, and Busch hasn't even caught any lap traffic yet. I think Blaney's just getting better and better and better as the long run starts. A little weak on the short run right now, but he is reeling in Kyle Busch and is probably going to have a good chance to get around him in a lap or two. Blaney getting diamond the corner off. Through turns 1 and 2. Pretty low off the exit of the corner. Reeling in Busch. Busch going to hold the inside into turns 3 and 4. Blaney to the outside. Backs it down. Trying to get a drive off to the inside of Busch off turn 4. Side by side for the lead. Blaney going way down low to protect the inside and not allow Busch to side draft him. Pulls clear of Kyle Busch into turns 1 and 2. First lap lead of the day for pole sitter Ryan Blaney. Lap 35. Just a little shy of halfway through stage 1 right now as Blaney is out in front for the first time. And lap traffic will be coming up in a couple of laps as well. Is there a rearview mirror with NASCAR 21? With the update? Maybe this isn't the update. I know I had to pause it to play it the other night, so it might not have actually updated yet. I'll be sure to get on that before the next race, if it isn't already updated. Guess I'll have to let me know down in the chat. Alan Williams, welcome to the stream. Think Elliott's going to win New Hampshire. I don't know. Hendrick cars have not been particularly good at New Hampshire in recent years. I think a lot of the Fords are going to run well. I look for Kevin Harvick to have a good run there. He was great there last year. He was great at, well, wasn't really great at Gateway. Almirola was good at Gateway. I think that'll come into play for him. I think he can have a good run. Christopher Bell was really good at Gateway and at New Hampshire last season as well. So maybe he can get a new winner. I think that's definitely a track that we can definitely see a new winner. Blaney. And that's 4 drivers right there that ran really well at that track last year that I think could have good runs. Even Kyle Busch and Truex started off well, but because of them having to race in the rain and them getting damaged, they weren't the same after that. So maybe Truex could pick up a win at New Hampshire as well. Although he wasn't... Well, no, he did have a good run at Gateway, if I remember correctly. Yeah, maybe he can contend also. No mirror even... Okay, so this could be the updated game then. That's a shame.
Hold your line. Clear, clear, clear.
Blaney's definitely going to want to put as many cars a lap down to the end of stage 1 as possible.
Stay left.
Being patient getting through the field right now.
Clear, clear, clear.
Hugging the inside all the way through the corner.
Got one right.
His car's loosening up in a good way during the course of this opening fuel run.
Clear, clear, clear.
Because it did seem like it was a little tight at the very get-go, which is another reason why it might not have been as good. If they bump the air pressure up, he'll be better for the short run. But I don't think he's going to make any changes to the car, at least during the Stage 1 break. I feel we'll have to make a scheduled pit stop at some point in the middle of Stage 2 and Stage 3. Which is going to be different from this first stage, which is the shorter of the three.
Clear, clear, clear.
That's even with pitting during the stage breaks.
Stay left. All right, hold your line.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who comes in just 6 points below the cutoff line on both Kurt Busch and Austin Dillon, who are 15th and 16th on the playoff grid, is currently in 30th right now. So Stenhouse not off to a good start stage 1 today at New Hampshire. He's ran good on the road courses this season, though. He finished second at Road America just a couple days ago. So maybe there's a possibility that he could have some good finishes in the next 2 races at Watkins Glen and the Indianapolis road course. But for right now, things are not going well for Stenhouse on this flat 1-mile racetrack. Obviously, he's really good at Daytona as well. Could potentially be a threat in that regular season finale. But needs to get over the hurdle today and try not to lose too many points.
Stay left.
Josh Putnam, fan 212, welcome to the stream.
All clear.
Blaney getting into the back of Justin Haley, just a tad off turn 4. Nothing major there.
Got one left. Clear, clear, clear.
I didn't see, what track were you running tonight, Joshua? What track, what game?
Clear, 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 clear.
Way down to the apron is Blaney.
Stay left.
It's alright for a flat track, I guess. Barely clear off turn 2. He made sure he was clear there, though, before he moved up. We could drive in the center of the corner that time for the 12 car as well.
Car right.
Dives it to the inside of Eric Jones in that beautiful Armor All 43 car. Chris Buescher is the next closest below the cutoff line behind Stenhouse. Again, he's 62 points below, though, just over 1 race worth of points, and he also is off to a poor start today, back in 23rd.
Stay left. Clear,
His teammate
clear.
Ryan Newman just behind him. At New Hampshire, same game.
Got one right. Clear all around.
Blaney and Newman get together. Newman squeezing Blaney on the front stretch. I don't think he appreciated the contact from the 12. Eric Almirola, the real-life winner of this race last season, back in 21st.
Got one left.
Blaney tiptoeing to the outside of Buescher off turn 4.
Still there. All clear.
And underneath Michael McDowell. Blaney already has about lapped half the field in stage 1. And we have 26 laps to go in this opening stage, 27 to go, this time by in stage 1.
Stay right.
Wish there were caution replays. I wish I could have known what that yellow was for on lap 2.
All right, hold your line. All right, hold your line.
No, it wasn't the 12 car. He's kept it clean. Looking for another playoff point as well. This could be the 12th stage win for the number 12 this season. His 3rd in the last 3 races. Well, it would be 4 races, I guess, with this one. Again, he scored a lot of stage points in recent races, but he's not getting great finishes. Trying to do both today to get back in the top 10 for the regular season standings. Trying to make himself a contender as well. Still sitting at 6 wins this year, which is most of any driver this season. but he's only got 7 top 10s.
Got one right.
Again, lacking the good finishes.
All clear.
When you get into the playoffs, you're going to need good finishes on a consistent basis. So might as well try to get that going in the right direction before the playoffs start so you have some positive momentum going forward from that Southern 500 at Darlington. Kickstart things for the postseason. Austin Dillon in 15th right now. Not great, but considering he is running ahead of the 2 drivers that are trying to catch him in points, that is good as long as we don't get a different winner specifically below the cutoff line. I know Bowman's in the top 3 in the early going without a win, but he is above Dillon, well above him in points. Dillon would have no shot of catching him anyway. Slam Stock Car, welcome to the stream. This is on champion difficulty.
Got one right.
I don't race on extreme difficulty on this game. Well, I do on some tracks, but not all of them. The only tracks I run extreme difficulty are Richmond and Phoenix because they're too easy. Took 35 laps for Blaney to get to the lead. Since he got there, he is slowly pulling away. It was after qualifying on the pole.
Got one right. Clear all around. Car right.
Any other game I play, though, I am on the hardest difficulty. This game is just too hard on extreme to run a full season at every track on. If I was doing shorter races, that'd be one thing, but because I do full races, I'm not going to run 30th on an intermediate track from start to finish when I'm in, you know, a Penske car and top equipment. I'm just not going to do it. So it's not realistic.
Got one right.
And I still only have 6 wins on the season regardless because this game's difficult. Kurt Busch, another driver outside the top 10 right now. That is above the cutoff line. Barely. Couple spots ahead of Austin Dillon. Martin Truex Jr. in danger of going a lap down. In 14th right now.
Still there. Still clear.
Blaney rockets past him into turns 1 and 2. Kyle Larson outside the top 10, although he's not typically great at New Hampshire or the flat tracks in general, like Hendrick Motorsports, like I mentioned a little bit ago.
Clear, clear, clear.
I should say a flat, longer track like New Hampshire or like a Gateway. Martinsville they've got covered.
Clear all around.
Kolomoto, welcome to the stream. Longest 300 lap race take. It'll probably be like any other of the races I do on the channel when it comes to full races, probably 2.5 to 3 hours. Just depends how many cautions we get. One of them so far, somewhere in the field. Back on lap 2. Knowing that that's how crazy the race starts could be at this racetrack, it'll be interesting to see. You know, we're going to get at least 2 more restarts at the stage breaks, how that will play out. And again, how the pit strategy will play out during the stage breaks as well. No, Blaney's going to pit during the stage break. 19 laps to go in stage 1 this time by. Only 11 cars on the lead lap. Nice to Monkey 92 Hammer. See you down in the chat as well. Thanks for tuning in. 20 likes on the stream already, not even through stage 1. Awesome, guys. Helps these streams out quite a bit. Appreciate it, as always. Lenny wants redemption from 2 races ago at Road America, where that one slipped by the wayside. He ended up with a 16th place finish. Stayed out to get those stage points. Felt confident he was still going to be able to win the race with that strategy, and was leading with 4 to go before wrecking in turn 1. All on his own, nonetheless. Making it all the more difficult to try to reprehend and put in the back of his mind and move on to the next race at Atlanta. And a way worse run there. Now here we are at New Hampshire a couple days later. And you're looking for that 7th win of the season. And he is less than 20 laps away from another playoff point. 10 regular season points to try to fold him back into the top 10. He was 9 points behind Truex. Truex is outside the top 10 right now, not looking at getting stage points in stage 1. So that alone, just based off stage 1, will put Blaney inside the top 10 in the regular season standings. Get him another playoff point for when the playoffs do start soon. Trying to clear Larson off turn 2, barely does for 11, well, the 11th place car. A lot of lap traffic. About to go an extra lap down up ahead. That the top 10 is dealing with currently. Ryan Blaney to the outside of his teammate Joey Logano. Logano crowds him a bit. But Blaney has just enough room to get to the outside. And the more cars that go a lap down to the end of this opening stage, the better for the 12 car. It's definitely the long run speed though, because it's hard to not take off like the rocket ship it was in practice and qualifying before that. And he only qualified on the pole by about 4/100ths of a second over Kyle Busch, who did lead the first 34 laps of the race prior to Blaney taking the lead at lap 35. Chase Elliott stuck behind one of the Rick Ware cars right now. Will pull out a line looking to make the pass. Blaney to the outside of Kevin Harvick. Going to split 3 wide with Elliott and the Rick Ware car of Joey Gase in turns 1 and 2. This could get narrow off the exit of the corner. Blaney just able to clear Gase, and now is alongside Elliott. Side drafts it just a little bit on the back straightaway. Pulls away now and into turns 3 and 4. Looking to clear the 9. It was a bit wider than what he wanted to that time, and as he closes on the double zero, if Quinn Houff just gets underneath him in front of Elliott by about a car length and a half or so off turn 4. 6 cars on the lead lap. Stage 2 is 110 laps. That's one thing though with last season. I kind of forgot what most of the stage lengths are, considering how when this game's so late into the this season, and the stage lengths have changed quite a bit, especially on the intermediate tracks from last year to this year.
Got one right. Clear, clear. Got one left. Still there. Still there.
BJ McLeod made that a lot more narrow than what it had to be, with Blaney passing him on the outside. Blaney had no grip into turn 3 that time. It's one thing we get closer and closer to the end of the tire center. Although Blaney's car is fast on the long run, it is still losing grip like the rest of the cars in the field. Last lap was 32.032. Even with that really wide turns 3 and 4, it's a few seconds off his fastest lap of the race. Say 30.086. His fastest lap, which was a qualifying lap, was a 29.6. So he was about 0.4 of a second off from his qualifying lap as his fastest lap in the early going of tonight's race. Working the corner, maybe a little too wide in turns 3 and 4 these last couple laps. Still not terrible, all things considered. 11 laps to go in the stage. Keselowski, Byron, Hamlin not too far up ahead. In danger of going a lap down. Blaney way to the inside. Trying to back the corner up to get to the inside of the 24 of Byron now. He doesn't want to pass him up high with a lot of the slower lap cars coming into play soon. Blaney with that hard charge into 3 and 4. Contact with Keselowski a little too hard. Kind of power slid into the corner. Allowed Keselowski to stay clear of the 12 of Blaney. Brad pulling out a line to make a pass on Cindric now, and Blaney is blocked down low. Also trying to get by the other Penske car of Cindric. Can't do it that time down on the inside. I don't have Gregson merch. I just can't buy merchandise of drivers that aren't the ones I root for on a weekly basis. The only one I root for is my favorite driver, which is Ryan Blaney. Diecast is about where that line's drawn. Hamlin squeezes Corey LaJoie. LaJoie hopped out of the gas, and luckily Blaney got to the inside of LaJoie just in time. LaJoie runs into the side of the 12 car, though, getting into turn 1. It just looked like he turned a bit early. Blaney still gets by Hamlin off turn 4. 3 cars now on the lead lap. 7 laps to go, stage 1. Alex Bowman, next car, up ahead of Blaney. He'll catch a couple more lap cars before the end of the stage. I don't think Blaney's going to get to Kyle Busch wherever he's at. And the free pass does not really work in this game. Blaney's not good on the restarts, so maybe they could get their lap back and get another quick yellow like we had at the start of today's race. That could help them get back on the lead lap potentially as well. I think this is Blaney's race to lose today.
One left. Still there. Still next.
Blaney on the outside of Bowman, off turn 2.
Still there.
Into 3. Stenhouse on the outside, slows up to 12, but now he pulls down to the bottom in the middle of the corner in front of Bowman, allows Blaney to get to the outside of the 47 car of Stenhouse. 2 cars now on the lead lap. Blaney going to pull it down low, making sure he's going to be in front of the 47. Kyle Busch nowhere in sight right now. He's the only one that has led laps today outside of the 12 car. Both the 18 and the 12 qualified on the front row.
Got one right. Clear all around.
Rookie in Season 1. Rookies. Just way too easy in this game. As far as like how fast the AI are. I mean, it's still hard if you're running with no assist to just not wreck. Not only we don't have any assist, but we have complex damage on. So if we hit the wall lightly, we're blowing a tire. You guys have seen that all season. For those that have watched the gameplay of this season and this series on the channel. Another reason why Expert's even that much harder. The settings and the pre-settings that are set for every race. 4 to go at the line in the stage. Still no sign of Kyle Busch. Blaney low on fuel at the start-finish line that time by. Again, the fuel window 76 to 80 laps. Should have just enough to make it to the end of the stage, and he'll pit during the stage break. He's going to have to find a good point to stop and pit, though, during the second couple stages. Not sure how that strategy is going to play out yet. Have to see how the cautions play out. May dictate exactly when and when not to pit. Obviously, everybody stayed out during the first yellow and only yellow of the race so far, which took place at lap 2, because it was lap 2. I think Kyle Busch has made his way through this field pretty well for the most part, too. While, yes, Blaney has pulled away from him, definitely nowhere near as much as the other cars. Two to go at the line in stage 1.
Stay left. We'll be pitting in about 5 laps. Clear all around. Stay left. Stay left.
Big welcome to the stream.
Got one right. All clear.
See Kyle Busch, I think that's him on the outside up ahead. I can't really tell for sure. It might be, it might not be. Final lap of stage 1. I think it is Busch. Getting around Bubba Wallace in the 23 right now. If Blaney had another 2 or 3 laps, I think he'd get to Kyle Busch. But it's going to be just enough for Kyle Busch to finish on the lead lap and finish second in the stage. I think he'll take that in the early going. Wallace going to cross him over in turns 3 and 4. Oh, Blaney almost chops down on the 34 of McDowell. He did, but McDowell will get one of his 2 laps back. Ryan Blaney will win stage 1 at New Hampshire in dominating fashion. His 12th stage win of the season. And there is how the top 10 are awarded points in this opening stage. Kyle Busch 2nd, Alex Bowman 3rd, Denny Hamlin 4th, Brad Keselowski 5th, William Byron 6th, Kevin Harvick 7th, 8th was Chase Elliott, 9th, Matt DiBenedetto, Joey Logano rounds out the top 10 in this opening stage. And again, for points paying purposes, I'll take a picture of the stage 1 results. And Ryan Blaney will hit pit road for the first time today during the stage break. We'll see if anybody else will also. No adjustments, 4 tires and fuel for the 12 team. think I saw other cars on pit road as well. Blaney's still going to be the leader. Green flag back in the air. Stage 2 underway at New Hampshire. A lot of 3 wide racing going on into the first turn. A lot of checking up as well. I don't know how they decide the running order following the restart. Outside of the fact that we know the top 2 are on the lead lap. Contact 3 wide. Truex. Looks like Joey Gase, maybe Josh Balicki. It is Gase with Austin Dillon. There might be some cars who have not pitted yet. I'm not entirely sure, but I think most of the field, if not all the field, has pit. A lot of slow cars are checking up the leaders right now. Blaney downshifting into turn 1. Trying to keep his car on the inside of the racetrack. Something you'll probably see more with the next-gen cars. And Blaney's able to get through the traffic. I don't think these guys pit, because they are extremely slow in comparison to the 12. And we'll probably see them hit pit road any moment. Unless it is just the mid-pack and back of the pack cars that restarted up towards the front of the field for whatever reason. Not for position, but they did restart in front of the leaders. Blaney was definitely not this fast before. He was fast, but he wasn't this fast. Back in the gas a little too soon, had to lift off the exit of turn 4. Matt Benedetto up to 4th. Having himself a good run in the early going. Blaney downshifts if he feels he's overdriving it on corner entry at all. Gotta be careful not to blow a motor when doing that. 29.790. That last lap was his fastest of the race. Still about a 10th off from where he was in qualifying. Caution. So caution is out. Blaney will stay out of the pits. It'll be the 3rd yellow of the day, counting the stage break. And maybe that'll be a chance for other cars to pit. Kyle Busch back in the running order again. Green flag back in the air at New Hampshire. Blaney and Busch into turns 1 and 2 as they battle for the lead. On this restart, Kyle Busch out in front of Blaney off of turn 2. Much better restart, though, for Blaney that time than the couple at the very start of the race. A little bump to the back of the 18. Not going to really do much. Good run, though, off turn 4 for Blaney. Back to the inside of Busch on the front straightaway. Side by side for the lead again into turns 1 and 2. Busch pinching the 12 down on the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side for the lead. If they didn't pit before, I definitely think they pit now, because there's no way Busch is on old tires. Blaney's having a hard time trying to keep up with him. Or at least pass him. He's not having a hard time trying to keep up with him. Denny Hamlin, 3rd right behind. I would assume he's a lap down. Whether he is or isn't, I'm sure he would like to get his lap back. The class of the field's in front of him. We've got some slow traffic in turns 3 and 4 right now. One car was just in the wall before moving down to the bottom of the track onto the apron. That was Quinn Houff in the 00. Huge train of cars coming into the pits. Blaney Busch. Nose to tail into 1. Blaney pulling out of line, trying to make the pass on the bottom. Battle for the lead. Again, at New Hampshire. Blaney just can't make the pass on the 18 car right now. Drives it deep. Into turns 3 and 4. Again, can't complete the pass off the exit of turn 4. Still, nose-to-nose, cautions out again for the 4th time today. And I think Kyle Busch was ahead of Blaney at the time of the caution. Blaney will stay out of the pits again. And yes, Busch was in the lead. Restart back in the air. we go to green.
Clear, clear, clear.
Cautions breeding cautions all of a sudden. Blaney on the outside for this restart. Kyle Busch down low, and Busch gets the launch through turns 1 and 2. Problem is he's not giving up the outside for me to pass him. And we've got cars on fresher tires who pitted at the time of that caution coming out that are going to be trying to get their laps back. Tyler Reddick in the 8 being one of them. He'll get to the inside of Kyle Busch, forcing him up off the bottom just a little bit. May allow for Ryan Blaney to have a run on the back straightaway. Maybe not. Busch is going to try to cross Reddick over. Reddick was at least 2 laps down, probably 3.
Got one right.
Blaney under Busch. Busch lifted off turn 4. And that dirty air behind Reddick as he couldn't make the pass on the inside. Blaney all the way to the apron this time. Gasses it up in the middle of the corner, but couldn't clear the 18 of Kyle Busch. This is a good battle between the 18 and the 12, both before the caution and since. Kyle Busch was only about 20, I believe 20 points behind Blaney in the regular season standings at 12th, both trying to get back inside the top 10. They've obviously scored a lot of stage points in the early going of the race, finishing 1-2. Blaney winning the first stage, Busch second. Blaney completes the pass on Kyle Busch through turns 1 and 2, finally. And we'll see if he can drive away. Even for those cars that pitted early in the stage during the couple cautions we've had at the start of stage number 2, they're not going to be able to make it on fuel to the end of stage 2, so there will have to be a set of pit stops at some point in time. It could be interesting to see how that plays out if we get a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops, which I would not doubt it with this game especially. And with the fact that we've seen a few yellows already tonight. Reddick holding that clean air advantage out in front. Blaney is about 1.5 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch in the 18 now. We are at lap 100 of 3:01 at the magic mile that is the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Running down the 8 of Tyler Reddick right now. Great exit to turn 4. He'll look to the inside of Reddick into turn 1. Not quite going to be able to get there. Into turns 3 and 4. A lot harder that time was Blaney. Little slide job on Reddick. And he holds the 8 car behind him. That was a clean pass. It got very tight between the 2 cars, but it was a clean pass. Truex back to 38th. Just saw the leaderboard. He may be out of the race. That's huge. It definitely moved Blaney and Busch ahead of him, and obviously whoever gets more points between Blaney and Busch today, well, Busch would have to outpoint Blaney by 20 or more, which I don't think is going to be possible considering how good both are running in the early going, unless Blaney has an issue of some sort, which I wouldn't doubt it. He's going to have to stay clean. Can't afford to hit the wall in this game or you might blow a tire. Probably will blow a tire, more often than not. Including stage breaks, had 7 cautions, now 8. We've had 4. They've all been AI related, except for the stage break. We know we're going to get at least one more stage break. Breeding cautions on the restarts is the big thing. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today, as we are now in stage 2. Stage 2 and 3 pretty similar in length with one another. Wonder with any of the other cautions, who else could potentially be out of the race outside of Mark Truex Jr. Trying to see if I see anybody in 39th or 40th. I haven't really seen it on the leaderboard yet. Not that I've been able to notice. A little hard to look at it in the middle of the corners. Trying to focus on hitting my marks. Really hear Blaney working the throttle in the middle of the corner. Try not to power back to the gas too soon and risk spinning the race car out. There was Ty Dillon Quinn Howell for 36th, 37th, but I don't know about 39th and 40th. I'll have to try to look at the end of stage 2. I know we can look at the full leaderboard at that point in time. Maybe be able to tell who may or may not be out of the race as far as the regular season points paying purposes. I mean, even through the corners, I haven't seen him. Right now, it's a Ford leading 2 Joe Gibbs Toyotas. Ryan Blaney leading Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin currently. Matt DiBenedetto's been in the top 5 at times today, as well as Alex Bowman. A lot of clean air Blaney's been working with since getting around Kyle Busch and Tyler Reddick on the restart. Kurt Busch is in 14th, so he is still in the race. Saw Logano in 10th, so the regular season champion's still in it as well. And he had a couple stage points at the end of stage 1. Interesting to see Blaney working through lap traffic when he gets there. Probably gonna reach the tail end of the field in a handful of laps. And gonna have to make his pit stop probably around lap 75. I don't think he's gonna want to go much further than that. I noticed in this game you can't really save fuel under the yellows too much. I'm sure you save a little bit, but I don't want to risk anything. Running out of gas in a race in which Blaney has dominated so far. And about halfway to that pit stop point right now. Also short pit if you really wanted to, but considering that there is at least one more car in the lead lap, I don't think Blaney would want to do that this early in the run. Go to lap 701. I couldn't imagine 700 laps at New Hampshire. That'd be terrible. Imagine the Coke 600, but instead of 600 miles, it's 600 laps. An extra 200 laps. Now that would be a war of attrition. It already is at times. Blaney really hard into turns 3 and 4. A bit too hard. Still made the corner though, kept it off the wall, that's good. Almost halfway through stage 2 already. I do feel like this race is actually flowing by pretty good. Despite the fact that it has had 4 cautions already. Ty Ty Dillon hogging that bottom lane right in front of Ryan Blaney. 12. Blaney holding the inside off the exit of turn 4. Ty Dillon on his outside in the 96 car. He's actually in 23rd. So Keselowski, I think, is still in the top 5 in the 2 car. All 3 Penske cars in the top 10. DiBenedetto was in the top 5 at one point as well in the Wood Brothers Ford. There's Kurt Busch in the 1. Danger of losing another lap. 701 laps is equivalent to Le Mans. Well, on an oval, not so much, because on an oval it would probably be like 6 to 8 hours if I had to guess, but if it was like an intermediate track. Super Speedway, maybe more closer to like the 10-hour mark. 10 to 12. Lenny did not clear Custer off turn 2, so he'll give him that room on the outside. Charge it hard into turns 3 and 4. Stays in front of him. Chris Buescher's gained a few spots from the last time we saw him, up to 21st. Still side by side with Buescher into turns 3 and 4. Lenny down to the apron. Trying to slide up clear of the 17 car off of turn number 4. He is clear. And right in line behind the 99 of Daniel Suarez before pulling down to the inside of him into turns 1 and 2.
All clear. Got one right.
Lenny's just having himself a clean race. He's barely making contact with any cars.
Clear, clear.
It's the way to do it in this game. Best chance you're going to have of making it to the end of the race, let alone having a shot at the win.
Car right.
It would be a cool graphic effect, as if you could see the glowing brake rotors. I know this game, you know, graphic-wise, better than probably any other NASCAR game, when the graphics aren't, you know, glitchy at least. And they need to work more on the physics side of things, but that would be one kind of cool detail that they could add graphics-wise. Especially on the short tracks and road courses.
Clear, clear, clear.
Full send mode into turns 1 and 2 that time for Blaney to get ahead of the 14 of Chase Briscoe. A lot of cars in the top 10 just up ahead. Logano, Bowman, Elliott.
Clear, clear.
These guys are all going to go 2 laps down. See, DiBenedetto's back to 7th. Bowman was as high as 2nd at the very beginning of the race, so he's definitely fallen. Still in top 10 for now, looking to get stage points in each of the first 2 stages. Hugs and hogs that inside lane. Blaney behind him. Blaney rolling through the middle of the corner, maybe a bit better than the 48 car, who is now on his outside off the exit of turn 4. And Blaney has cleared him off the exit of the corner. Go back to the far chase cam, at least for the rest of this stage 2. About 25 laps away from green flag pit stops for Ryan Blaney. He's hoping that he doesn't get an ill-timing caution to try and get back into this. Wade Zielinski, welcome into the stream.
Clear, clear, clear.
Yeah, Rolex 24 on the Daytona Oval and with stock cars. Could you imagine that, though? Like, switching drivers out and stuff, too? Nobody. I mean, they can't even make it to the end of 500 miles sometimes. They would need more than a 43-car field. But then again, it would be even more dangerous, so considering the start of the race. When everybody's packed together. Could you imagine like 70 cars in a pack? It's already dangerous enough with 40. You have like 40-car pileup. That'd be something, though.
Clear. Car right.
Kyle Larson up inside the top 5. These guys all going 2 laps down. Kyle Busch was the only car at the end of stage 1 who was on the lead lap with Blaney and battled Blaney for the lead and actually led early laps in this second stage. Probably driven away from Hamlin and the rest of these guys just a little bit through lap traffic.
Got one right.
Like he did in the last stage, building himself up a little bit of a gap.
All right, hold your line.
And the idea for Busch, we know he's good on the shorter runs. If he can make it to the pit stop, have a better pit stop than the 12 of Blaney, I don't know, that could help him out. I don't think Blaney's going to be making any adjustments during his pit stop. Hasn't really had to all day. 701 laps at Talladega. I mean, you're just asking for somebody to die. I mean, let's just be honest. Dangerous enough as it is. If you're running like 24 hours, 700 laps, I don't care if you're swapping drivers out. Somebody's going to get seriously injured on an annual basis. I don't care how safe the car is.
Got one right. Clear all around. Got one right. All clear.
Still don't see Kyle Busch anywhere. And he's got about 20 more laps to try and catch Kyle.
Got one right. Clear.
That was an aggressive clearance from Blaney on James Davison. 15 car for Rick Ware Racing. And quickly pulls around BJ McLeod. I'll legit be scared. Yes, I would. Like, if I was there in person, the very first super speedway race I was at, Talladega, in the playoff race in 2020, I felt scared, like, watching it in person. Just because of the pure racing fan in me. And I think just racing growing up, I've known it to be inherently dangerous and accepted that. And I feel like a lot of, you know, maybe younger fans even don't really see that, and we definitely kind of see that with a lot of younger drivers too. Or maybe they feel invincible. And I think sitting as close as I did, like only 15 rows up from the fence, and you know, getting that feel for the first time. I had been to short tracks and road courses and intermediate tracks before that, but like in that instance, I was like, man, this is wild, and somebody could get hurt here. And when that big one happened on the front stretch, where I think it was Boyer got in the back of Jimmy Johnson, and Johnson ended up turning down the track when they were 3x3 midway of the final stage. I was like, oh no, here we go. And then, I mean, you could see it unfold so quickly. And then next thing you know, Kurt Busch is in the air, and I thought he was going into the fence, like right in front of me, to be completely honest. I saw him go airborne. I can vividly remember seeing the roof of his race car fly by me. He obviously kept it off the fence. He was surfing over other cars, but I can vividly remember seeing the roof of his race car. And it felt as if the car was pointed. It might have been pointed at me, but it stayed on the track. That was wild. See Stenhouse back to 32nd. Kyle Busch just a couple cars ahead of Blaney. I think Blaney could get to him in the next handful of laps, definitely before they get to pit stops. .700 laps at the Coke 600. Are you asking like one driver to do that, or are you asking for like driver swaps, kind of like we see in IMSA? Or like there will be 2 to 4 drivers on a team. I think it's 3 to 4 usually. But that's a 24-hour race. Oh, we got a stack up as if somebody has just crashed in turns 3 and 4. They'll get going again, no caution. Blaney started checking up because I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Ty Dillon in the 96 car will hit pit road. So something has happened to Dillon. He was in 23rd. Last we saw of him.
Clear, 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 clear.
He is in the pits. They were probably wrecking, but no caution came out. We stay green. I definitely would have put him in the window to make it to the end of the stage on fuel. That would have been a caution Kyle Busch would have needed because Blaney is right there and to the outside of Busch. Busch is going to try to squeeze the 12th car. He's not going to give him room to pass him on the outside. Defensive line by Kyle Busch that time. Blaney wants to get around him in case we see any cautions in the middle of green flag pit stops, which could potentially be starting right now. And we know Blaney's going to end up hitting in 15 laps as well. Little crossover by Blaney on Busch. And he'll clear Busch off turn 2, and he has now lapped the field at New Hampshire. During stage 2. No free pass awarded in this game, unless that has been fixed with a recent patch. I'm going to probably doubt it, if that is the case. Would the driver swap? I don't think somebody's going to... I mean, somebody could get hurt, but just because you're asking those cars to do so much, and on an oval nonetheless, that there will be quite a few crashes. Racing here or at Dover? In this game, I prefer racing here. Dover's fun in this game, but with the stability, the car is super tight. Like, it can be tight here, but I have a really loose setup, and it's actually kind of perfect. Like, it's a little snug, but it's not overly loose either. But at Dover, I can't get the car to loosen up at all. Or if it starts off looser, it still tightens up by the end of the run. So in this game, I'd say New Hampshire. Most other games, I'd say Dover. NASCAR 06, I haven't raced at New Hampshire yet, and Dover sucked for me at that race. That was definitely the worst race track I have run on in all 3 series. I had a good finish in the Busch series out of top 10, but doesn't mean it was easy. And Byron's fallen quite a ways outside the top 10. Austin Dillon's lost a few spots from the last time we saw him, in 17th now. And he clears Byron off turn 4. And a little less than 50 laps to go in stage 2 right now. 10 laps away from Ryan Blaney hitting pit road for his first green flag stop of the day. It'll be the second pit stop total of the day. I wonder what the strategy is going to be for this 12th team, though, come the end of stage 2. Do you pit during the stage break, or do you stay out of the pits during the stage break and pit early in the final stage to then make it to the end on fuel? Definitely going to be interesting to watch. Just get within that pit window with about 75 to go, hit the pits, and you're good on fuel to the end of the race, knowing that there, at least as of right now, isn't another car in the lead lap. I keep any sort of wave around or free pass from happening. Try to make this a 3-stop race. Power slide getting into turns 3 and 4 that time. And no adjustments during pit stop number 2 for Blaney when the time comes. A lot of stress on that right front tire this far into the stint. See if we get a caution before that. And obviously, depending on how the cautions play out, will be a big factor as well on how pit stops are going to shake up the rest of the way going forward. Because obviously, if we get a caution in the next 10 laps, less than that now, before Blaney hits pit road, he'll hit pit road now to make it to the end of the stage. And then that would also mean that he probably won't be able to make it on fuel on just one more stop. So he might as well pit during the stage break again anyway. Custer about to go 3 laps down in the 14th place position right now. Outside the top 10. And he's got a 1-lap lead on the field as we run. 30 likes on the stream right now. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Still a long ways to go in this one. We've had 4 yellows already in the first half of the race. And we have our trivia question coming up very soon, probably following green flag pit stops. We'll get to that next trivia question. Our halfway mark will be at lap 151 today.
Got one right. Got one right. Clear, clear, clear.
I do have the question for you guys already.
We got about 5 laps of fuel left. Stay right. Still inside. All right, hold your line. Still there.
Newman crowding Blaney as Blaney got to the outside and passed Newman cleanly through turns 3 and 4. 5 laps away from Blaney making his second stop of the race. He's gonna have to make sure he does not speed, excuse me, when he hits pit road.
5 laps. We'll be pitting in about 5 laps. Clear all around.
Derek Booth, welcome into the stream. They do a Chicago street race. How are they going to do that safely? Organize it itself? I don't know.
We got about 5 laps of fuel left.
I'd like to go just because of the ethics of seeing a street race. It'd be another new track for me in person, but I'm not gonna lie, if it's in a bad area of Chicago, I don't I don't know that's necessarily the safe thing to do. I definitely wouldn't want to go by myself at least. I've been through Chicago once, and I went to Chicagoland, but that's way outside of Chicago. But I wasn't in like a, sketchy area by any means. I don't know exactly where they would have the track at. I don't know if it'd be where they had the iRacing layout or if it'd be somewhere completely different.
Stay left. Stay left. Clear all around.
2 laps away from Ryan Blaney hitting pit road for his green flag stop in stage number 2.
Still there. We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
Gonna lack Chase Elliott again into turns 1 and 2. Cleared him before entering the corner. See Hamlin, Keselowski, Larson up ahead yet. Benedetto as well. This car's definitely gotten really tight over the last probably 10 to 15 laps on these extremely old tires. So he works his way around to Benedetto.
All right, bring it to us this time. Bring it to us this time.
Then he'll go one more lap. We'll go 76 laps and then he'll pit. Oh, contact off turn 2 between Keselowski and Hamlin as they battle for 4th. Keselowski on the inside, Hamlin on the outside. Kevin Harvick's in 3rd place just in front of him. And Keselowski's going to clear Hamlin off of turn 4 for 4th. Blaney going to get around both of them by the time he got to the start-finish line. Bring those guys another lap down. Blaney to the outside of Harvick in turns 1 and 2. Going to cross him over, get to the bottom off of turn 2 now because Blaney will pit this time by. Trey Fasnap, see you in the stream. He wants a trivia question. Let me make the pit stop first, as we are now exactly halfway. It'll be a 4-tire stop, no adjustments for Ryan Blaney, and on to pit road he will go. Creeping. He'll have that number 1 pit box with qualifying on the pole for this race. So Blaney is in from the lead. Tonight's trivia question is, Eric Almirola won from 23rd in the point standings last season at New Hampshire. There are only 4 drivers in NASCAR history to have won from at that same point in the standings or further back in the standings at New Hampshire. Who are those 4 drivers? That is tonight's trivia question. I should say there's 5 drivers that have done it. Whoever can name the most will get the trivia question right. So I don't think anybody's going to get all 5. There are 5 drivers to have won at New Hampshire from outside the top 20 in the point standings in the Cup Series. Who are those drivers? And, ladies and gentlemen, there is an issue right now. Blaney has control of his car, but he's parked behind the pit box currently. And the pace car is costing him a little bit of time, but he is going to be off and away. He's able to get out. A little bit of a struggle that was. He's going to be in second. Still in second place. Kyle Busch probably a lap ahead of him right now. Blaney's going to need this to play green at least until Kyle Busch ends up hitting pit road sometime soon as well. Harvick, Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., Elliott, and Busch. None of those drivers won at New Hampshire outside the top 20 in points. I will say, you get unlimited tries. Try and name them all. I'll give you guys the answer to the trivia question at lap 1. We'll go lap 170. Almirola is 1. Outside of Almirola. Outside of Almirola, there are 5 other drivers who have won outside the top 20 in points at New Hampshire. Who are the drivers? I will make sure when somebody gets one of them, I will say that that is one of them. I'll try to help you guys out as much as possible to see if anybody can get all 5. Brian Vickers is 1. Ernie Irvin is 1 also. That was a good answer. Which Burton? Gotta be specific with that. Kyle Busch is on pit road right now. Ryan Blaney will retake the race lead. So if we do get a caution before the end of the stage, at least Blaney is back on the lead lap and back in the race lead now. We are in the middle of green flag pit stops. You have to be careful passing cars on the bottom in turns 3 and 4 just in case they end up pitting. Just want to get caught up in a wreck. Robbie Gordon is also 1. Truex is not 1. Jeff Burton is not 1. He just says both. Ward Burton is another. Right now, R6 has had the most right. So far, he is at least leading in our question. Harrison Burton's father, Jeff Burton. He was not outside the top 20 points when he won. A little contact getting into turns 3 and 4 between, it's like Chase Briscoe and Kurt Busch. Kurt was trying to get to pit road. Briscoe was underneath him. Robbie Gordon, Ward Burton. It's 2. I know Joshua said Robbie Gordon, but you didn't get the most right in your question, though. You only had Robbie Gordon. Logano is another. That's 4 of them. I think somebody did have one, but they weren't, had the other one of the 5, but they weren't specific enough. Wallace up to 3rd right now. I don't think he's hit pit road yet. Vickers, Robbie Gordon, Irvin, Logano, Ward Burton. That is 5. Let me rephrase the question. There's 6 of them because there's one you're forgetting. That I don't think anybody has mentioned yet. There is 6 of them. There's not 5. That was... I told the question wrong. I did my research beforehand, but I told the question wrong. That does make 5, but there's actually 6. It's not Nemechek. See, 1999. He wasn't outside the top 20 in points, though. Nemechek isn't the answer. He won in 99, but he wasn't... He was in the top 20 in points, I should say. He wasn't outside the top 20. Not Mark Martin. Somebody might have had it earlier, but I know they weren't specific, if that gives any hint. Guys have until lap 170, so you're still got about 7 more laps. I think somebody will get all 6 eventually. Nope, not Ricky Rudd. Presume Blaney has a 1-lap lead on the field still, following the green flag pit stop. I don't know if it's a 1 or a 2-lap lead. I would imagine it's probably just 1-lap lead over Kyle Busch. We actually got through green flag pit stops without a caution. It's most of the way through. Lights just flickered there for a second. Nope, not Ricky Craven. Not Kenseth. We've got a Busch. Nope. You did not get it, Billy. It's not Kurt Busch. He's got 5 more laps. Nope, it's not Kurt Busch, guys. Got a few Kurt Busches in there. I feel like you guys should know this. It wasn't that long ago. Not Ryan Newman. He was outside the top 10 in points, but he wasn't outside the top 20. Yeah, I think R6 got it. Vickers, I'm assuming Robbie Gordon, Ernie Irvin, Joey Logano, I'm assuming Ward Burton, and he did say Kyle a little bit ago. Kyle Busch is the other one. Kyle Busch in 2015. Remember when he missed the first handful of races in the season? Well, I forget how many races exactly he missed, but he missed a good chunk of the beginning races after his Xfinity wreck at Daytona. He won at New Hampshire that year. He was outside the top 30 at the time of him getting the win. Obviously, Almirola was one, but that was part of the question. Was other than him, who were the other drivers? Brian Vickers in 2013 ran part-time that year, but still would have been in the Cup Series point standing, so he was outside the top 20. Ward Burton was outside the top 20 in 2002 when he won. Ernie Irvin in 1996 was outside the top 20 when he won at New Hampshire. Who else was on that list? Joey Logano, his rookie season in 2009 when it rained short race. He was outside the top 20 at New Hampshire, winning that summer. And Robbie Gordon in 2001. In the season finale, he ran part-time schedule that year, running about half the races. He won at New Hampshire. Still don't think the 23 car, Bubba Wallace, is pit. He is in the top 10, but he is losing constant laps right now. Hoping for a caution. 42 car, Ross Chastain pulls to the inside of the racetrack. He'll be trying to pit from 20th. Kyle Busch missed 11 races 2015. Yeah, I couldn't remember how many he missed. Maybe he missed a good chunk. A lot of the back marker cars currently hitting pit road. That did not pit yet. Just over 10 laps to go in stage 2 currently. Blaney has a 1-lap lead on the field. He's trying to put Harvick, DiBenedetto, Keselowski, and these guys 2 laps down. Blaney already won stage 1. He's dominated this race so far. Looks to the inside of Harvick. Close to making contact. Side drafted him off turn 4. To watch the cars on the bottom of the racetrack getting up to speed. Caution for the 5th time today. Caution flag is out. I don't know if Harvick was 1 or 2 laps down at the time of the yellow. That's going to be interesting. Green flag will be back in the air. Ryan Blaney will lead the field to the green. 7 laps to go in stage 2 for the restart following caution number 5. Blaney into LaJoy. A lot of contact there. Both cars getting a bit sideways. LaJoy in 18th. Might be on a little fresher tires, pitting a lot later than the 12 of Blaney did. 6 laps to go in the stage. Blaney should have a 1-lap lead. There are a lot of strong cars behind Blaney that pitted a lot later in the stage trying to get their laps back. I think I saw Austin Dillon somewhere in there, and he is right on the cutoff line. Toxic Punk Young Boy, welcome to the stream. Jones going to get by Blaney. Blaney's just going to have to be careful he doesn't get ran over, which is going to be difficult considering there's no rearview mirror in this game. Holding the inside in front of Wallace. 5 laps to go, stage 2. Google's on fire with the... Racing References on fire with the trivia question. 3 wide. Blaney's just going to lift. He's going to let Quinn Half, James Davison go. Stenhouse going to get a lap back. He's in 35th now. He has lost a lot of spots. Blaney doesn't really care how many spots he's losing. He's just trying not to wreck the car with the cars on fresher tires behind him on this restart at the end of the stage. 3 wide with Cody Ware, Michael McDowell. Just barely kept it off the wall. Austin Dillon's up to 11th right now. Maybe he can have a shot at the top 10. He's looking to get another lap back and does. And with a good drive off of turn 4. Looks to the inside of Dillon into turn 1. 3 laps to go in stage 2. Two laps to go. 2 more miles in stage 2. Ryan Blaney looking to max out on stage points today at New Hampshire, winning each of the first 2 stages. This will be his 13th stage win of the regular season in less than 2 more laps. That wasn't a horrible caution. All the cars passing us are 1 lap down, so that's good. Quinn Half pulled a big block on Austin Dillon there, and they're not even battling for position. Byron to the inside of Blaney will get another one of his laps back. Almost gets into the side of Cody Ware in the 51. If he didn't already get in the side of him. Final lap now of the stage for Ryan Blaney in the 12. They'll be heading into the final stage with the 12 car, trying to get a max points day today. He'll be on the inside of Cody Ware.
All clear. Stay left.
Not going to put him another lap down, though. Stage 2 is over. Ryan Blaney has won the second stage. They're crashing off turn 4 back behind everybody. I saw that out of the rear view, but Blaney got to the start-finish line before a caution could come out. So there is the Stage 2 order. Blaney wins the stage. Kyle Busch will end up second. Denny Hamlin third. Kyle Larson fourth. Joey Logano rounds out the top 5. Kevin Harvick at 6th. Brad Keselowski 7th. Tyler Reddick 8th. Matt DiBenedetto 9th. And Austin Dillon got a stage point at the end of the stage, getting around McDowell in the last lap, getting to 10th. So those will be all the drivers getting stage points in this race today, as well as, of course, Stage 2. Byron really fell back 21st after getting 5 stage points at Stage 1. Christopher Bell, Eric Almirola, Martin Truex Jr. are the 3 drivers out of the race right now, all with wins this... Well, actually, I don't think Almirola has a win this season. Let me check. Almirola does not have a win this year, but he's well below the cutoff line on points. He's going to need a win to get in. Bell has 2 wins, and Truex has 1 win this season. So there we go. Ryan Blaney picking up 2 stage wins today. And he'll try to go for the sweep and get the race win as well today at New Hampshire.
Entry is red.
He's going to stay out of the pits during the stage break and just try to make it a 1 more stop when that window opens, with about 75 laps to go. And green flag back in the air at New Hampshire. Try this again.
Stay left. Clear, clear, clear. Stay left.
116 laps in the final stage. Longest of the 3. Cindric going to get around him on the start. Will contact off turn 2 back there between BJ McLeod and Joey Gase.
Clear all around. Clear all around.
Lenny powering on the inside of Cindric. Goes back alongside of him on the front straightaway.
All clear. 1 left.
Slide job. Cindric with the crossover.
Hold your line.
And gets back around him off turn 2.
Clear all around.
More contact between Gase and McLeod back there. Cindric in 36, but he's got much fresher tires than Blaney.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps. Stay left. Stay left. Clear, clear, clear. Stay left. Clear, clear, clear. Car right. Clear, clear, clear. Got 1 right. Clear,
And
clear.
a slide job through turns 3 and 4 for Blaney on Cindric. Clears him this time and he'll try to pull away. Gaps him a bit more off turn 4.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps. We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
Crew chief's going nuts, telling Blaney to pit on a repetitive basis. Blaney's going to get into the wall in turns 1 and 2. Lock the front tires up trying to get into the corner, and that definitely hurt him. Luckily, he did not blow a tire and will be able to keep his car on the racetrack. That would have been highly unfortunate if Blaney would have blew a tire there. Just goes back to not having to push this race car too hard. He has 1 more pit stop still to get through before the end of this race. It's 6 cautions total now with that stage break. 4 cautions per incident. 1 in stage 1, 2 in stage, 3 in stage 2, and none in the first 5 laps of this final stage. So Blaney exactly would have hit pit road at lap 76,
5 laps of fuel left.
roughly running about 34 laps. So he's looking at lap 39 hitting pit road in this stage. Maybe go to lap 40. And that I think he's going to go to lap 40. Because if Blaney goes to lap 40 before pitting, he would have to go 76 laps to the end, which he already did at one point today. So I definitely think he could do it again. That window's 76 to 80 laps anyway for the 12, so I definitely think he'd be able to make it if he just makes it 40 laps this run. So he'll go an extra lap this run. It's only a 1 mile track, so if he runs out of fuel, he should be able to make it all the way back around. Worst case scenario, and he has a 1 lap lead on the field too. So he has a little bit of time to give up. Trying to win on just 3 stops, which in the stage racing era, and really any track, that is pretty impressive actually. That is definitely what could lead him to this wide margin of victory.
We got about 5 laps of fuel left. We got about 5 laps of fuel left.
$34 likes on the stream so far tonight. And we've got 26 people currently watching. We've had over 30 viewers at one point in time in tonight's live stream. So hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you are new to the channel. Well, hit the like button regardless if you're new, but subscribe definitely if you are new and not already subscribed to the channel. We have a live commentary for this weekend's coverage at Atlanta for the Xfinity and Cup Series. Race highlight video from Mid-Ohio from the Truck Series this weekend, as I'll be there attending that race live in person as well. And I'll also have the race highlight vlog from the IndyCar race at Mid-Ohio on Sunday. That'll be up on the channel hopefully later tonight. Be on the lookout for that one. Have that notification bell set so you don't miss it. Blaney leads right now with just over 100 laps to go at New Hampshire so far in tonight's race. He's done a pretty great job of how things have gone so far for him today, and feels confident that he should be able to win this race after winning each of the first 2 stages to start things out. Still hasn't ran a lap time that he ran in qualifying in this race. His last chance to really do that would be if and only if he can do that after he ends up making that final pit stop of the race a little bit later. Pulling to the inside pretty early into turn 3. Blaney going to get around him quickly on the top. Again, lap 40 of this stage is when Blaney will pit. Just inside the window to make it to the end. That's because he did not pit during stage 2. Trying to make sure there was no chance of anybody getting a lap back with having a 1 lap lead on the field. Something crazy happening like a caution on the restart, because we did see cautions on restarts at the start of stage 2. But we have not seen that in stage 3 so far. And at the very start of the race we had a caution on lap 2 as well. The field has been bunched together. Thought I pulled the trivia questions out of my head? No. Never. I always use Racing Reference. I need to so my facts aren't wrong. I honestly had no clue Ernie Irvan won in 1996, let alone he was outside the top 20 in points when he had won that race. I don't know all that stuff. I can remember Logano, and I figured he was outside the top 20 because he was just not good when he was with Gibbs, and I would assume his rookie year, he was probably at his worst in his Cup career. When he was only, what, 18, 19 years old? Kyle Busch, I remembered, because he was out for a long time during the season. I figured Vickers was because I knew he was only running part-time with MWR at the time. I didn't know about Ward Burton in 2002. I actually figured he would have been in the top 20 in points just because he won the Daytona 500 and got off to a good start that season. I wouldn't have realized he was below the cutoff line. I figured Robbie Gordon in 01 probably was because he didn't run the full schedule. But yeah, Ward Burton I wouldn't have known, and Ernie Irvin I wouldn't have known. It's kind of a tough question, but in the sense that I was telling you guys if you got any of them right, to see if anybody was just going to get them all before lap 170, which was the case. I figured I'd let you know, because having to name really more than 2 drivers is pretty tough for a trivia question. One car in pit road right now. It looks like one of the Rick Ware cars. Couldn't tell which one. It looked like it might have been James Davison. Was in the pits making a stop. Not within that fuel window to make it to the end of the race yet. Still just over 95 laps to go. Over 200 laps complete at the Magic Mile. Another 1 mile racetrack tomorrow that is flat on the channel. It'll be the Busch Series race at Milwaukee. Coverage will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that one. So a little bit later start time than tonight. And that'll be the last video game live stream for the rest of the week, unless I cannot get home early enough on Saturday for the Atlanta race. I may end up doing a race later at night on the NASCAR 06 side of things. No guarantees with that, but probably like to do that if I can't get a live stream in. The live Xfinity Series commentary, and the only reason I wouldn't be able to, again, is because I'm going to be at the Truck Series race in Mid-Ohio, so it's just going to depend on when I can get home. I live about an hour and a half away from the racetrack. I got out of there pretty quickly for the Xfinity race last year, so that's why I feel like it's obtainable. I feel like there's going to be about that same amount of people there, if not less. Although they did make a lot of upgrades on the racetrack facility itself from last year when I was there for the Xfinity race and this year for the IndyCar race. So maybe that'll bring more people in. There was a lot of people there for the IndyCar race, but it also was 4th of July weekend. So I think that definitely helped with the attendance, but it was packed that Saturday. This led to the parking fiasco, or at least leaving the parking lot fiasco at the end of the race, which you'll see in the vlog. Benedetto still sliding back. He's in the 10th place position, though. Austin Dillon really got himself on a good pit strategy. He was running outside the top 15 for most of the race today, but I think he is still inside the top 10 after scoring 1 stage point in stage 2. And there's a good shot to get ahead of Kurt Busch in the standings. Santiago Kid, welcome into the stream. Last I saw, Bowman was in 8th. He was in 2nd at one point early in the race, hasn't led laps. The only drivers to lead today have been Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney. They've swapped the lead a couple times from each other. Blaney qualified on the pole, but Busch led about the first 34 laps before Blaney took the lead all the way to the end of stage 1. Then the beginning of stage 2, Blaney and Busch were battling quite a while. Busch took the lead off the restart, but Blaney couldn't get back around him for about a couple dozen laps in stage 2. Stage 3, though, Blaney held on to the lead on the restart, didn't get any more yellows, and he's had the lead ever since really green flag pit stops late in stage 2.
Got one right. Clear, clear.
Busch back to 17th now. Keselowski's even faded to 9th. Spotter says pit. Yeah, I am not listening to him. I know I could go a little bit further on field. He's saying pit every lap. He was doing that at the end of stage 2, even though I made a green flag stop towards the end of the stage anyway.
Clear, 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 clear.
He is not accurate
Clear, clear, clear.
in this game. Bowman's actually back to 15th, so he's really fallen. Doesn't have a win this season. He's going to need all the points he can, get playoff points at least based off the regular season standings, he's going to want a shot to win the title. Four-time Blaney scraped the wall off the exit of a corner today, and I think that was the first time off turn 4. The other 3 were in turn 2. Doesn't blow a tire, though, so that's good. Definitely don't want to make an unscheduled stop, especially knowing at this point right now you wouldn't be able to make it on fuel to the end of the race yet. Chase Elliott back to 16th. He's lost a lot of spots. Big send mode into 1 and 2 for Blaney to get by the 17 of Buescher. Huge wad of lap cars now right in front of Blaney that he is trying to get around. Kyle Busch in the 18 just in front of him and is in danger of losing another lap. Have to go 2 laps down. By my calculations, scoring in this game can be wonky sometimes, so they might make it more, they might make it less. But regardless of the fact, that is a big pass for Blaney, clearing Busch off turn 2. Hamlin back to 8th. He was in 3rd at the end of stage 1. I think he finished 4th or 5th at the end of stage 2. And he still can't clear Hamlin off turn 2. Full send mode into 3. Slides a little too wide, though, on these older tires. Still keeps the 11 way behind him, though. Hamlin did not get through 3 and 4 well at all. Quinn House still all over his back bumper. Wonder if they may have made contact. Blaney is 10 laps away from making his final stop of the night. Even if we get any cautions, he plans on staying out of the pits to the end of the race. Again, lap 40 of this stage, he will pit, which would probably be at lap 225, will be the scheduled stop overall. Harvick way up wide. 6th place position. Haven't seen Austin Dillon since the start of the final stage. I wonder if he's inside the top 5 now. Blaney going wide too. Subscription to Hulu. So I'm under my parents' account. I think they have the $60 bundle, which includes pretty much like any channel you'd get with cable, as well as like HBO Max and all that stuff for movies. When I end up moving out, I plan on using Hulu because I've liked it, but at the same time I don't plan on using that. I'm not really a big movie person, so I don't even use it. I don't even know that they really use it all that much. Normal bundle to get like all the cable channels, or most of them, about the same amount of channels you would have if you had a hotel room. Probably like 70, 80 channels. But a lot of your sports network channels, especially local ones, like with college sports and all that. That is, I think, $30. At least it was when we first signed up like 2 years ago. I don't know if maybe, it's like $35 or something now. I have no clue, but it's still a lot cheaper than cable. So if you have a smart TV, that's definitely the way to go. Luke Seltzer, welcome to the stream. Ever watched Sopranos? Good series. No, I'm not really a big TV watcher. Not big movie watcher. I have seen a lot of the movies I have seen are older movies. I have barely seen any movies from really 2010s onward, to be completely honest. I'd probably be more into watching a movie than a series, only because there's so much time that goes into watching a TV series. Because it's on a weekly basis versus a movie you can watch that's like an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe a little longer than that, depending on the movie, and you know, you're out of there.
Alright, bring it to us this lap. Alright, bring it to us this lap.
Watch a lot of sports, mainly NASCAR, and then pretty much content on YouTube is anything I fill up entertainment-wise in my free time.
Car right.
Have Hulu because of ESPN. Yeah, that has been nice. I was able to watch a lot of Red Wings games this year through Hulu because they have the NHL taking over ESPN taking over a lot of the NHL. I was able to watch a lot of Red Wings games. Probably more. I could have watched more than what I actually did. But with streaming at night during the week, I would miss a lot of the games. But there were some games I was able to watch. I probably watched about a dozen games this year, plus one in person. Austin Dillon is up to 4th, by the way. It's going to be back-to-back top 5 for Austin Dillon. Things go the way he is now. Another car on pit road. It's like Joey Gase in the 53. Blaney's 2 more laps away from his final stop of the race. But imagine Kyle Busch will take over the race lead again. Maybe he won't. Maybe Blaney will hold on to the lead, regardless of the fact he'll get back in the lead lap when Blaney hits pit road. And that would be the best way for Kyle Busch to get back into this race and have a shot. Joey Gase on pit road again. Is he just going to like go into his box and pit every lap? Second lap in a row I've seen Joey Gase on pit road. Oh, it might have been the other Rick Ware car. It might have been Balicki that time. This Gase was actually pit road. They have almost the same identical paint scheme. It threw me off. A lot of lap traffic way up ahead for Blaney, but he's going to wait it out just a little bit. There are cars trying to get to pit road, obviously, over the last couple laps. So definitely going to have to watch that pack of cars in front of him if he gets to them by the time he pits, which will be this time by. I don't think he will get to any of them. I think he'll be a little bit behind him into turns 3 and 4. May get to the inside of Eric Jones, but that would be about it. It's actually perfect timing to catch the heavy pack of lap cars in front of him as Blaney will hit pit road for the final time, this time by. He's got one of the Rick Ware cars right behind him, Joey Gase. He'll let him through first before going to the bottom. Gase on much fresher tires, and Blaney will be in the pits. Down to pit road speed, and he's got that first pit box at the end of the pit lane. 4 tires of fuel for Ryan Blaney, second green flag stop of the day. I've heard of Sopranos, though. I don't know what it's about, but I've at least heard of it. Wasn't it on for like a really long time? So Blaney is in his box. Again, no adjustments, 4 tires and fuel. Hasn't had to make a single adjustment on the car today. He's won the first 2 stages. He was fastest in practice and fastest in qualifying. Couldn't have more of a perfect race car for the race weekend. Just unloaded fast and hasn't had to touch the car at all. Yeah, it pulls me out behind the pit box. I'm glad I have a big lead both times I make green flag stops today. Otherwise, that would be very frustrating. But luckily, I'm able to at least drive away. Recorded in the early 2000s. Blaney is still the leader. Oh, we got into Cole Custer. Just slammed Custer into the wall.
Car right. Clear, clear.
Could have blamed that on cold tires. I don't think I hit the pace car that time. I definitely did the first time. I had no control over the car when it did that, though. Like, it sets you off, and then I got on the brakes knowing that that was probably going to happen that time. The first time I didn't, and I got into the pace car. Luckily, no cautions came out both times, and luckily Blaney's got so big of a lead. Last time he lost the lead, at least until Kyle Busch pit. That time he didn't lose the lead. That is the first time Blaney has qualified on the pole on an oval this season, so I wonder if that #1 pit box on every track does that in this game. Under green flag stops. And then the stage 1 pit stop was at the stage break itself during the caution. And the very first stop of the day. Blaney's going to be good on field to the end. A lot of cars staying out, hoping for a caution. We're obviously losing a lot of time to Blaney, who's got much fresher tires currently. And he's definitely going to have to be careful passing cars on the inside in turns 3 and 4 as he rockets past Kurt Busch. Corey LaJoie up to 17th. I think he's running down Elliott in front of him for position as well.
Got one right. Clear, 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 clear.
72 laps to go.
Right. 3 wide, got 2 up top, all clear.
LaJoie to the inside of Elliott. Took a peek at least, couldn't get around him. Kyle Busch, who is the last and only car on the lead lap outside of course race leader Ryan Blaney, is just a few cars ahead. Blaney's going to put him a lap down, which would trap him the rest of the race if we did get a caution between when Busch pits and when Blaney pits now, which would be interesting because Busch would be able to put on a little bit fresher tires than what the 12 of Blaney has currently. Off turn 2, Blaney is there. Right behind Busch. Couldn't get to the inside of him that time, but old Rocket passed him into turn 3.
Clear, clear, clear.
On much older tires, Kyle Busch rather, not Kurt Busch, but Kyle Busch, not going to have any chance to cross Blaney over. And we'll go back to lapping other cars in the top 10 of Hamlin and likely Logano this time through 1 and 2 as well. He's got about 75 to 80 lap fresher tires than the rest of the field right now. Except for those who pitted just before him, which were really only some of the back marker cars that pitted as soon as that window was open to the end of the race. Seen caution in the middle of green flag stops once today. I wouldn't doubt that we'd see another yellow. We saw it happen a couple times at Atlanta in the 8 cautions we had in that race. We haven't had a single caution in this final stage yet, despite having quite a few yellows in the race total. 6 of them, 4 for incident. About an average amount, I guess. Not really a whole lot up to this point. Wouldn't doubt that we get at least one more yellow, though, before the finish at that rate. Blaney's just got to make sure he doesn't make an unscheduled stop now with a blown tire because of getting into the wall. Which a lap lead on the field, at least he'd probably still come out with the lead. Larson blocking and slowing Blaney down that extra couple seconds in the middle of turns 3 and 4 before Blaney finally gets around Larson, who is in 4th. Bounce back performance for him after 2 straight finishes outside the top 10 for Larson. Falling back from Logano quite a ways, but Logano's been in the top 10 all day, so he's not going to gain many points on the 22 for the regular season championship. Logano's really opened that gap up recently.
On the outside, you're 3. Stay left. Clear all around. Stay left. All right, hold your line. Clear, clear, clear. Three wide, got 2 up top.
I just saw Austin Dillon in the pits.
Now 1 right. Clear all around.
Austin Dillon up to third.
Stay left. Clear, clear, clear.
Staying out, maybe he's hoping for a late yellow. Byron to 9th after being 21st at the end of stage 2.
Middle of 3.
Definitely could shake the running order up even more.
Down one right, down one right. All right, hold your line. Clear all around, clear all around. Stay left, stay left. All clear. Car right. All clear.
Denny Hamlin in the pits from the top 10. I think I see Larson in as well. Kyle Busch on his way out in the 18 car. Back to third, probably because Austin Dillon's still out of the pits. So Busch is, I'd probably say 3 laps down. As of right now, he's looking to get 1 lap back, I'd assume, on Blaney with pitting a little bit later than him. Busch is going to have fresher tires at the end of the race than the 12 car.
Car right.
So Kyle Busch going to be running down the 12 in front of him to try to get one of his 3 laps back to the end. He's definitely not going to have a quick enough pace to get every lap back to the finish. 2 hours later, do it for Dale. No Torres, welcome to the stream. We'll have that again tomorrow night for the Busch Series at Milwaukee. Do it for Dale Series race there about halfway through the Busch Series season. At another flat 1 mile racetrack, that'll be a 200 lap, 300 mile race. Kyle Busch stuck behind Ross Chastain in the 42, and even though he's got fresher tires, he's not getting through the lap cars very well, and that could allow Blaney to pull away a bit more. And even if we get cautions, Blaney is not going to pit again the rest of this race. Just going to stay out, keep this track position. He feels comfortable right now. We're about halfway through the final stage itself, which was 116 laps total. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles one more time in today's race for the next little bit. Just over 50 laps to go at the Magic Mile. Blaney into the back of Corey LaJoie off of turn 4. Closed up on him a lot quicker than what he thought. How about Corey LaJoie in the top 10 right now, running in 9th? I don't think he'll be able to hold that to the end of the race.
Down one right. Still next to you.
What's with the camera shake? I was obviously clear of him. There was a lot of camera shake going on there. Just got to the inside of Larson, trying to trap Kyle behind the 62. Brennan gone. Enjoyed potentially running Larson down for a position. Likely for 8th. If he can get to him.
Stay left. Clear all around. Stay left. All clear.
the side of the 38 now of Anthony Alfredo. Accidentally bumping him out of the way. Blaney's just going to have to be patient at the end of this race. He's made contact the last couple laps with a few lap cars. Nothing major, but needs to keep his car clean to the end. Exhibit A.
Clear all around.
Austin Dillon still in second. I don't believe he has made his final stop yet. And there is Dillon in danger of losing yet another lap. He'll go 3 laps down currently off turn 4. Blaney clears him. Oh, big stack up. Turns 1 and 2. Bubba Wallace checking up the 33 of Cindric. Blaney got into the back of him. Wallace in 7th, having a good run so far. Dark Crypto, welcome to the stream. More fun in New Hampshire than any race at Texas I've ever done. And maybe the same for both of us.
Stay left.
Although Texas on NASCAR 06 was pretty wild. That Busch Series race especially. That was something else. 50 laps to go at the Magic Mile currently. Probably about another 25 minutes or so from the end of this race, give or take. Ryan Blaney by far is going to lead well over 200 laps of this race, probably over 250 the way things have gone so far. And a max points day with it, not because of leading the most laps, but because of winning the first 2 stages as well as the race. Might not have had the fastest short run car, but definitely has the fastest long run car. His team's been excellent on pit road, no miscues there. And no game glitches.
All clear.
Up to this point, at least. Also allowing Ryan Blaney to continue to lead the way. Westman, welcome to the stream. Updates to the game made it better? Well, I know I'm leading this race right now, so it might be a little biased for me to say that it is fixed. There might be some small improvements. It's still not a good game, but it's a lot better than what it was, especially at its launch day. But it's still having some of the same issues from launch. I mean, the fact that there's still scoring errors at times like we had with Atlanta. I went an extra lap down at one point during the last race. During one of the cautions, no clue exactly how that happened. You know, stuff like that that just keeps happening from time to time on an inconsistent basis. And inconsistent with what tracks it does it at. So there's no way to really find the loophole around it. S62 car was not up to speed when pulling to the outside in front of Ryan Blaney. Blaney whizzed by him on the back straightaway. I'd have to imagine Gaughan's probably going to get right back by Blaney, considering it's been a while since the 12 car hit pit road and the 62 just came out of the pits. Even with Gaughan outside the top 30. Ace of Spades, welcome to the stream. Yes, this is on PS4. I haven't tried concrete Bristol on this game in a while. Dirt Bristol I have. Well, it's been a while for that too, considering it was early in the season on this current final season we're on right now. Justin Haley right in front of the 12 car of Ryan Blaney right now. Blaney trying to find a way around him. We'll get to the inside of Haley. And they're side by side on the front straightaway into turn 1.
Still there. Still there. All clear. All clear.
Slides clear of him, it'll drive on. I don't have iRacing. I get asked that a lot. And he went in a little hotter than what he would have liked. Through turns 3 and 4 that time. A few more laps of alternating through the different camera angles, and we'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of this race today. 42 laps to go, the way things are right now, of course barring potential overtime. Despite 6 cautions in the race today, 2 stage breaks, 1 yellow for incident back on lap 2 in stage 1, and 3 cautions for incident in stage 2. We have not seen a yellow at all in this final stage. I do think a lot of the back markers still have to pit yet before the end of this race. It pitted a lot closer to the end of stage 2 with that late caution than a restart that we had in the final 7 laps of that stage. Blown corner through 1 and 2 allows for Gone to get by the 12 of Blaney for right now. Of course, Blaney's already put about 35 laps on his tire since his last pit stop. Just got in the back of Gone, getting into turns 1 and 2. Before driving to the bottom and blowing past Corey LaJoy and Cole Custer in turns 1 and 2. How hard Blaney charged into turns 3 and 4 that time. Kind of see the front of the car slip up just a little bit. But he didn't go extra wide that time. It was actually a really, really good corner, all things considered. We'll go to the far chase cam for the rest of this race today at the Magic Mile. We'll go to the Milwaukee Mile tomorrow night on NASCAR 06 for a Busch Series race on another full race live stream on the channel. And then live race commentary Saturday and Sunday at Atlanta for the Xfinity race Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then our pre-race coverage for the Cup race on Sunday will start at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow night's live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a NASCAR 06 Do It for Dale Series race at the Milwaukee Mile for the Busch Series. Ryan Blaney up the middle, 3 wide. We're on the lap cars of Brendan Gaughan and Joey Gase. Got by Gase, gonna cross Gaughan over. Well, not really gonna be able to get the drive off turn 2 that Gaughan did on the bottom. Blaney will stay behind him before charging hard into turns 3 and 4. And he's gonna get into the back of the 15 of James Davison. That slows him down, and Gaughan's able to get right back around the 12 for the 12 to get around the 15, who is very slow still off turn 4. Right back in front of the 62 of Gaughan again. and continue to stay green in this final stage. This 12 car starting to slide around, and he's getting really, really tight on corner entry on top of it as this race gets later into the going and on this tire stint. It's going to be the longest tire stint of the race for the 12 to the end of the race, or at least tied for the longest of 76 laps. Been consistently pitting every 75 to 76 laps in this race today, hence the 3-stop strategy. That has really worked out for this 12 team. Of course, the way the cautions have worked out today have obviously helped with it. Haven't had any out of ordinary yellows for the most part. Made things a little bit easier to call strategy-wise. Kevin Harvick in 4th, having a good run for SHR, trying to get around his teammate Briscoe right now. He'll clear him. Blaney to the inside of Harvick on the front straightaway off turn 4. Trying to put the 4th place car in the number 4 another lap down. A nice red apple. Busch Ford Mustang. Benedetto's now falling outside the top 10. He's back to 11th. Busch in 19th continues to slowly fall through this running order. He's going to be the last driver in on points going into a couple of road course races at Watkins Glen and the Indianapolis road course. If we see an upset winner, Kurt Busch could be bumped from the playoffs. Of course, a regular season finale at Daytona, you don't want to go in with a tight battle either. Big block on the front stretch from one car to another, and I think that might have been B.J. McLeod on Kurt Busch. McLeod was battling Ty Dillon for 27th, and he'll pass him for position. 30 laps to go this time by for race leader Ryan Blaney. Blaney going to get by Dillon. Alex Bowman back to 18th. He is really free-falling from where he was at the very beginning of the day, as high as 2nd in the running order. Good qualifying effort, but it is not falling his way on these long green flag runs in this final stage. One in the middle of stage 2, and this entire final stage has gone green flag, as we've mentioned multiple times already. Kurt Busch could be closing in on him to put Bowman back another position as well. Suarez up for grabs though right in front of Bowman. B.J. McLeod looking to get around the 48 car as he pulls out a line into turns 1 and 2. He'll get to the bottom of the racetrack. And Blaney will follow McLeod to the inside of the 48 off turn 2 to put Bowman yet another lap down. Joshua, I'm trying to meet you in victory lane tonight. Might be able to. I'd say this is definitely the best race Blaney has put on so far this season. Oval road course, it doesn't matter. The only other race in which he won both stages and the race itself were the 2 road course races at Coda and Sonoma that he had won this season. I'd say this one he has let a lot more laps in along the way. Oh, Michael McDowell in 3rd place. Not sure where he has come from in this one. He is locked into the playoffs, so they win at the Daytona road course way back in the 2nd race of the season. Actually had a top 10 run at Atlanta, if I remember correctly, a couple nights. No, actually it was Road America on Monday. He had a top 10 finish. So he's looking for another. He's got a couple road courses coming up again, too. Who knows, maybe he'll have a shot to pick up more playoff points with a win or stage wins in those next couple races. Looking for a strong finish today. Unlike yesterday. I will say Carl Edwards had the class of the field in our Chicagoland NASCAR 06 race yesterday. He did lead in over half the race. That lap traffic costed me at the end, though. Had that contact with Jeff Green with about 2 laps to go going into turn 1. Edwards was only half a second behind me, and he passed me by the exit of the corner. And then Gordon got around me as well, and I fell back to third. And was right behind Gordon at the start-finish line. Just couldn't get back around him for second. Edwards has won 4 races on our NASCAR 06 season, though, so far, and I've only ran 18 races. I've got 7 with Dale Jr., but there's a reason why Edwards is leading the regular season title. He's got more top 10s than anybody else as well. That was a wild race last night. Joey Logano in 9th, looking to pad that regular season points lead. Scored stage points in each of the first 2 stages tonight, and he's looking for a solid top 10 finish. I think he'll take that. Looking for an extra 15 playoff points at the end of the regular season if he can hold on. He's got a pretty big lead. He's been very, very consistent during the summer months of this schedule. And we'll have just 4 races to go to try and hold on to this regular season points lead. Trying to put himself as potentially the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. Blaney going to put him another lap down at the start-finish line that time. 23 laps to go yet. Yeah, the fact that Carl Edwards is a rookie right now in our NASCAR 6 season is making the season even that much more impeccable. Him and Mike Bliss have been the 2 standouts of the season so far. Mike Bliss hasn't won any races, but he's had, I think, 9 or 10 top 10s. And he's actually the last driver in on points right now. It's just when he's not finishing in the top 10, he's not having good finishes at all. Otherwise, he'd probably be higher in the standings. Given his equipment, though, the fact that he's 10th in points, that's insane. I don't know that he's going to be able to hold on because Ryan Newman and Kevin Harvick are right behind him. There's still 8 races left yet till the chase. Chase Elliott in 15th, about to lose another lap.
Stay left. Clear, clear, clear.
The 12 of Blaney. Through turns 3 and 4, Blaney slides in front of Elliott. And he'll quickly try to drive away now. Almost a lap 100 in the final stage alone. Looking for the final stage to run caution-free to the end and leave ourselves with still just the 6 yellows total tonight. Margin of victory, looking at about 3 laps if I had to assume right now. That's how fast Blaney's been on the long runs in today's race. And the 3-stop strategy also panning out really well for him also.
Car right. Clear all around.
Holding these drivers a lap down during the cautions in the stage breaks to keep from them potentially getting any sort of a wave around or a game glitch of potentially losing a lap as well. Yeah, this is about as clean of a race as I can have on NASCAR 21 Ignition in a full race, to be completely honest. The fact that it's on a short track makes it all that much more insane, to be completely honest.
Car right. Clear, clear.
17 laps to go. Busher going down low. Trying to get around these lappers.
2 on the outside. You're 3.
I'm not quite 3 wide. I'm not sure what the spotter was talking about there.
Stay left.
And how crowded Blaney quite a bit. Blaney drove it in flat into turn 3 to try and get around both Half and then as well as Josh Bilicki, who's in 37th.
Stay left.
Stays low and gets to the inside of Chris Buescher on the front straightaway now.
Still there.
There's his teammate Ryan Newman just up ahead as well in the 6.
Stay left. Clear, clear, clear.
Honestly, though, Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch have been the only cars today to start up towards the front and actually maintain their track position from start to finish in this race. Seems like everybody else has been in the top 5 or anything of that nature in this race have kind of fallen back a bit as the race has wound on, as Blaney just got in the wall pretty hard in turns 1 and 2. I don't think he blew a tire, thankfully. He's got a 3-lap lead, so even if he did, as long as there's no caution, he'd be all right in the sense that he could get to pit road. He'd probably lose a couple laps, but he'd still come out with the race lead. Still don't want to test those waters. And on these old tires, this car's definitely a lot tighter at this point in the run. Easy now. Easy, easy. Hey, take it easy. Yeah. I remember on the old EA games, the crew chief would always be giving you crap if you did that. Come on, buddy, we worked hard on this thing. Still only the 5th time Blaney's even scraped the wall all day long. That's impressive on a short track in a 301 lap race nonetheless. One of the Rick Ware cars of James Davison on pit road right now. We'll see if we stay green to the finish. I hope so too, Billy. From time to time, there were some good battles between Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney back in stage 1, especially in stage 2. The first half of that stage was pretty good, but the second half of the race, Blaney has turned on the afterburners. Ooh, a little contact getting into turn 3 up ahead. I think that's Cortland Joy who's trying to get to pit road. In the 7 car, Blaney did the inside of his teammate Keselowski, who was in 8th. Gonna get around him, put him another lap down. So we have just 10 laps to go at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The contact between Hamlin and I think that's James Davison up ahead. Getting into turn 3, Hamlin came off the wall a little bit and ran into the side of him. More than just a side trap. Considering Davidson's in 37th and Hamlin's in 7th, I'm not sure why Hamlin would do that. Maybe he's trying to pull a Bowman from a couple nights ago at Atlanta and try to bring out a late yellow so he can pick up some more spots late in the race. It actually costed Bowman because he did lose 1 spot doing that the other night. Fell from 3rd to 4th. That final restart, Logano got around him.
Got one right. All right, hold your line. Clear, clear, clear.
8 laps to go. Blaney on the inside of Denny Hamlin. In turns 3 and 4, now underneath Eric Jones. Had a good drive off to at least clear the 11 of Hamlin off turn 4. Side drafting Jones on the front straightaway before driving it in to turn 1 all the way down to the bottom and clears him. He's got a chance to put Kyle Busch yet another lap down in these closing laps. Kyle, one of the few cars ahead of him in that 4-car pack up ahead. He's just getting into turn 3 right now. A couple seconds ahead of Blaney yet. A couple cars slowing Busch up in front of him. I think mainly Cole Custer's closing that gap off right now. Larson trying to get around Custer. Not for position. Blaney sliding a bit wide in turns 1 and 2. He kept it off the wall. Probably didn't want to go that far out on his widening into turns 1 and 2 to run that upper groove. This is in big time into 3 and 4 now on Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch in front of him. Backs the corner up, trying to get to the inside. 3 wide, potentially in the front stretch. Blaney's going to think better of it. He'll just pull to the inside. Bubba Wallace not trying to take it 3 wide in any way. 5 laps to go.
2 on the outside. Here's 3.
Blaney with a bit of a power slide off turn 2. Can't quite clear Kyle Busch.
Still there.
Busch is in second.
All clear.
Blaney gets around Custer into turn 3. Clears Kyle Busch as well. And I believe Blaney has a 4-lap lead on the 18 car.
Got 1 left.
Considering a couple free passes that should have been for Kyle Busch, Blaney should only have a 2-lap lead, but I believe it is 4. If it's not any one of those 2, I don't know why it would not be one of those 2. I wouldn't be able to justify the other reasons.
Stay left. Clear, clear, clear. Clear, clear, clear.
Then he gets around Kyle Larson. Larson trying to run down Austin Dillon for that 5th place position up ahead. But he's going to have one last lap to do that, with Blaney getting around the 5 car through turns 3 and 4 that time, although Blaney blows 1 and 2, and Larson might have a shot to get back around him. Nope, not going to happen. Corey LaJoie actually got around Larson into turns 1 and 2, and Blaney just in front of LaJoie himself right now, as LaJoie pitted a few laps ago. In 24th on much fresher tires. He is going to blow to the inside of Blaney, and Blaney's just going to let him go. 2 laps to go at the line for Ryan Blaney. Bubba Wallace has just passed Kyle Larson through 3 and 4 that time as well. And Larson's way too far back to catch Austin Dillon or even think of catching him. It'll be the final lap this time by for the 12 of Ryan Blaney. Be just his 8th top 10 of the year, but it'll be most importantly his 7th win, which will give him 5 more playoff points, 7 total in today's race, with winning each of the first 2 stages. Won't have to worry about overtime. By far the most dominating win of the season for the 12 will be the 3rd time this season he will get a max points day, winning each of the first 2 stages and the race. 13 stage wins total now after today's race, 7 race wins. One final time through turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag is going to wave. And Ryan Blaney is a winner at the Magic Mile at New Hampshire. And I kind of forgot until just now that there's no burnouts in this game. So unfortunately, no victory celebration there. But you will get to see Blaney in victory lane here in a matter of moments. Yeah, it's showing me 5 laps ahead of Kyle Busch. I think it trapped him an extra lap down, probably during during stage 2, because he was on the lead lap at the end of stage 1 yet. So somewhere along the lines, it trapped them an extra lap down. Realistically, like I said, he should have finished 2 laps down if the game was actually accurate with scoring and there was free pass positions given, because Kyle Busch should have gotten a couple of them. He should have gotten one at the last caution in stage 2, and then during the stage 2 break. There were no cautions in the final stage for him to get any, so he should have gotten 2 laps back, and I was actually 4 laps in front of him, but again, the game trapped him an extra lap down some point in time there during one of the late yellows in the 2nd stage, or the stage break itself at the end of stage 2. But regardless of the fact, Blaney is a winner. Kyle Busch ends up 2nd, Kevin Harvick 3rd. Austin Dillon gets around Michael McDowell in the final lap for 4th, and McDowell rounds out a great performance with the top 5. Dillon needed that. He came in last driver above the cutoff line. He should move ahead of Kurt Busch now to 15th on the playoff grid. And again, 4 drivers can still lock themselves into the playoffs virtue of wins. 4 races left now in the regular season. Larson ends up 6th, Denny Hamlin 7th, Brad Keselowski 8th, William Byron 9th. Great comeback performance for him. He was outside the top 20 there briefly. And Joey Logano, the regular season points leader, has a solid day. Finishes in 10th, rounding out the top 10, and of course ended up getting stage points in each of the first 2 stages as well. De Benedetto fell back to 12th, it looked like. Kurt Busch 18th. He'll be the last driver above the cutoff line on points now, ahead of Stenhouse, who finished 27th. He was 6 points ahead of Stenhouse. I don't think Kurt Busch scored any stage points, neither did Ricky. So not a good performance for Busch. He'll still gain, looks like 9 points on Stenhouse today. So that will only mean that Kurt Busch will be just 13 points ahead of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. going into the next race. So it is going to be tight going into Watkins Glen sometime next week. Only 3 DNFs, Christopher Bell, Eric Almirola, Martin Truex Jr. Probably all involved in the same caution whenever that took place, considering they all DNF and finished 215 laps down. That's probably one of the late yellows, or one of the early yellows in stage number 2, I'd have to imagine, when we had a few cautions back-to-back at the start of the stage there. So I can't show you guys the actual point standings myself because I have to do them myself with this being on Race Now mode on NASCAR 21, but I'll take a picture of the finishing results so we get those points updated as soon as possible. And here is Ryan Blaney in victory lane with the body armor number 12 Ford Mustang. Yeah, it kind of stinks there's no burnouts in this game. Probably they weren't able to add that in with a patch. Probably would have caused another game bug or something. Alrighty, so that is going to wrap things up tonight. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for a NASCAR 06 Busch Series, Do It For Dale Series race at the Milwaukee Mile. That will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, again, Atlanta, live race commentary for the Xfinity Cup races this weekend as well. Both those races are on the USA Network, so if you don't have cable, definitely want to tune into the action. And even if you have cable, maybe you want to watch the race along with me, maybe mute the TV, listen to my commentary, whatever the case is. I will greatly appreciate you guys tuning into those ones, as well as tomorrow night's stream and any other stream going on down the road. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, road to 3,000 subs, and most importantly, on the road to becoming a NASCAR commentator for real races down the road. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.